everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Liz, and thanks for joining me on a Saturday, spending a little bit of your Saturday afternoon with me. I'm here once a month, so kind of often. Usually I do crochet tutorials. I'm an expert at crochet, so join me for one of my crochet classes. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do punch needle, which is I'm a little bit newer at, but it's kind of a quicker learn than crochet. You don't need as much kind of fine motor skills, and it's a lot of fun to do, and it's fast. So the only thing is it's a little frustrating when you first get started to kind of figure out how to keep those stitches in. So we're going to work through all of that today. And since there's only a few of you, please feel free to ask as many questions in the chat, and I will get to all of those questions. So that's the benefit of doing these classes live is everything, you can ask me questions live as we go through it. If you're like kind of working through it with me and you run into a specific problem, we can talk through it. Okay, so let's switch over to my hands camera, and we're going to talk about the materials we need. We kind of need a lot of things for this class, and there's a lot of modifications you can make too, so don't worry if you don't have everything. So I provided for the class this just like a little drawing that I did, just so you would have something. The only disadvantage of this is it's kind of hard to trace it onto your monk's cloth. So we'll talk about the monk's cloth, but you're going to use this little drawing. If you don't have it or you don't want it, you can just totally do something freehand. That would be probably perfectly fine as well. I have this. This is the tracer thing. So if you don't have this, we'll talk about what else you could do. This is my 6-inch bamboo hoop that we're going to use today. Again, if you want to make something bigger, use a bigger hoop and a bigger piece of monk's cloth. I'm using the loops and thread worsted weight yarn. So with this punch needle, the yarn and the needle is going to be like, you kind of have to use the right yarn for the right punch needle. And sometimes that can be tricky to figure out. But for this one, since I've experimented with it, this is the perfect, this worsted weight acrylic yarn is going to be the perfect yarn to use for this punch needle that we're using. Okay. And let me I'm just going to look at the chat to make sure I don't have any questions. Is yarn better for punch needle than embroidery thread? You can't use embroidery thread with this punch needle. There's a smaller punch needle. I have it. I have it, you guys. I know I have it. There is a smaller. Okay, so that's just it. You just have to experiment with which needle, because there's smaller needles and there's larger needles. And I can't find it, but there's also a smaller punch needle that you can get on Michael's if you want to use embroidery thread. But because this one's larger, it's not going to work. It's just going to slip right out of the monk's cloth. Okay, so yeah, so for this one, we're using a worsted weight yarn, which this is kind of like your standard acrylic worsted weight yarn, good for beginner projects. It's easy to use, it's smooth, it's inexpensive, it comes in lots of colors. So if you're just beginning out with if you're just starting with any type of yarn craft, knitting, crochet, punch needle, like this is your best bet to start. Don't start getting like textured and all kinds of, I know it's fun to get like the super fluffy crazy stuff, but if you're just starting out with whatever it is, my recommendation is to get a smooth worsted acrylic yarn. This one in particular is my fave. Okay, so we're going to use this punch needle, which is by Clover. This is the one that I put in the class material, so this is the one we're going to use, and this is what we need to punch with. It's called monk's cloth. And you can also get, this is also by Loops and Threads. It comes in like a long pack. It's just like a fabric, right? Rolled up fabric. I've cut out a few pieces here, but this is what it looks like. This is a pretty large piece that I cut out, but I would say cut a piece like about 12 by 12, and then you'll have plenty of extra to fit into the hoop. Okay. The monk's cloth, is kind of like this woven fabric. It frays a lot on the ends. You can put some tape on the ends if you don't like that fraying. It doesn't really bother me because it doesn't really go all the way to the center. But you have to use this to punch. If you try to use just like a regular cotton fabric or something like that, it's not going to punch through. Okay, so this, because it has so much, because of the woven nature of it, it works really well for punch needles. So monk's cloth, that's what you need to punch. Okay. All right, I think that's everything. Yeah, so let's attempt, oh, a Sharpie. If you have a Sharpie or a fabric pen or even a pencil will probably work. We're going to start out with that. I happen to have this tracer thingy. It's my son's when he draws. So I'm going to attempt to trace my little drawing that I provided for you guys. What's best is if you have a stencil, but I couldn't, I needed to provide you something digital. I couldn't provide a stencil. But if you have stencils, you could use a stencil to trace something onto your monk's cloth, or you could, if you're a good artist, you just draw something, draw something simple. But for this, I'm going to attempt to trace this. Okay. The problem with tracing it is this monk's cloth is so thick that you can't even really see through it, even with the light box. So let's give it a try. So I'm just going to pick a nice smooth part. And like I said, if this isn't working out for you, find a stencil or do a freehand, or maybe put it up to a window with the sunlight. That might help. So let me try to. And this is just so we have a guide to do our work on our punch needle. Can you guys see this? Okay, I can't even see it very well through the light box, but I can kind of get an idea. It's such a simple drawing. It's, you don't have to be an artist to do this. It's more of just a guide. Let's see here. It's like one little mountain. And then I have another little mountain starting about here. I think it goes like this. This is basically just like squiggles that I made in Adobe Illustrator. So nothing fancy. You could probably find something online too. Just like a really simple drawing. But look, that looks perfectly fine. Okay. And you don't need to draw that circle. That's just so I could make sure it fit within the size hoop. Okay. And then I have the little sun right here. And don't worry about the black because the black marker, because the yarn is going to cover it up. But if you're a good artist and you just want to freehand something with a pencil, that would work too. Or you could just punch needle freehand. You don't even need to have an outline. So here's our little outline of our little mountain that we did. Okay, our landscape. We don't need this anymore. Now we're going to get to the fun part, to punch. The punch needle. Okay, so Jan asked, is the punch needle with various sizes better than a single? My yarn won't fit in the one I have. The one with the various sizes. Hold on, you guys. I know where that one is. I'm going to show you. This is another one that I have that I got from Michael's. I haven't even opened it yet, but if you have this one, you can see it's got smaller punch needle. And it's got 3 different sizes here that you put into this thingy. Now, if you're using this tiny one, you guys see that? You need real thin yarn for this. Like you can see that little hole? It needs to glide easily through that tiny little hole. So you can't use this worsted weight yarn. That'll never fit through there, right? This one's a little bit bigger, but still it's not going to fit through that tiny hole. Same with the largest size in this pack. Okay, so this guy is for thinner threads, like embroidery thread. you know, like really fine size 1 cotton threads. That's what this one is for. We're not using that today. We're using kind of like the modern punch needle, which is usually either chunky weight or worsted weight. This one's worsted weight, but there's also other punch needles that you would use with chunky weight. This is also another one that I have. This one's kind of expensive though, and you have to get it from like a specific place. I can't remember what it's called, but you see how big that hole is? You can use a big chunky weight yarn with this one, okay? So if this is the one that you have, just use the appropriate yarn. The monk's cloth is gonna work for, I don't know about embroidery thread. I haven't tried it with embroidery thread, so don't hold me to that. But the monk's cloth is gonna work for like a smaller weight, like a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6 weight yarn, okay? Probably for embroidery thread if I had to guess, but I'm not 100%. You might need a thinner type of a thinner type of fabric for that. This is the one that I got from Michael. So this is the one we're going to use for the class. And this is the Clover. It only comes with one size punch. You can see it's pretty big too. It's more comparable to this one. So I'm going by that hole, right? So obviously this worsted weight yarn is going to glide easily through that hole. So this one, let's talk about this one. It comes with this little rubber thing, and you can use it or you can just slide it right off if you don't want it. It's just kind of to, I guess, for your grip or your fingers or whatever. And it also has these parts that come off. So if you take these 2 little pieces off, then you've got a longer like shaft here, okay? So what happens is when you punch down, this is going all the way down, and you're gonna have a much longer loop on the back side of it. If you had this thing on, it's only punching through that much, and you're just going to have a shorter loop. So these little adjustable things are really only going to affect the size of your loops. So for punch needle, you have the loop side and you have the stitch side. And it doesn't matter which you want to use as the front side. For mine, I use the stitch side as the front side, but sometimes, and traditionally, the loop side would be the front side. You would have these really thick, you know, nice lush kind of loops, and that would be the front of your work. And it doesn't matter either way. You're just going to treat, you know, how you finish it a little bit differently. Obviously, you're going to keep all your yarn ends and stuff to the back if you want to treat the loop side as the back, and you're going to keep, you know, if you want to treat the stitch side as the front, you're going to try to keep all your ends to the back, and vice versa, right? That makes sense. Okay, somebody said, can you use linen cloth? Yes, you can use linen. I've never used linen. I think it's more expensive, but second, from my research, monk's cloth is like the #1, and then the #2 is linen. Now, as far as like with embroidery thread, so Hayden said muslin cloth works good with embroidery floss. Use 3 strings. Okay, so there you go. So muslin cloth too can work with embroidery. I haven't tried it with embroidery, so I can't give you like a good answer for that. But for this yarn, monk's cloth for sure. Color sheets on the internet work great for pumpkins. Yes, totally. There's so much stuff on the internet that you could pull off, and you could just kind of make a stencil out of it. So like if you have a fun picture that you found, just like cut around it and then use that as a stencil to do your drawing, or just use it as a guide if you're a decent artist. Okay. Make sure you guys can see everything. Okay, so so now we know. I'm going to take these guys off because I don't care what my loop side looks like. So I'm going to have the long loops. It's going to use a little bit more yarn, but I find that it doesn't like come up on me as much. Like it doesn't pull from the out. So I'm just going to use the long one and have long loops. But you don't have to. That's kind of a matter of choice. This also comes with this one, and this is how we're going to thread yarn through here. Okay. So that's everything that comes with that particular punch needle. Just move some stuff out of the way. And we're gonna, first we're gonna put our little thing that we drew into this hoop. So I used the hoop as the frame, but you can just use the hoop as like you're working, and then you can take it out and put it in a different frame, or use a bigger hoop if you want a bigger piece, and then just, or you can use it as like make a coaster with it, or put it on a pillow. There's all kinds of different things you can do with it. Clover also makes a hoop that's like a plastic hoop, and it has these like legs on the bottom of it, and that is, it won't work as a frame, but it'll work as like your workspace. So you can use that to punch and then take it out of there and make, you know, like a pillow or whatever with it. Okay, now I gotta remember. Okay, so here's the bottom piece. So we're just gonna put our little drawing over the bottom piece, and then put the top piece over. I'm gonna try to line it up, because this, I'll just hang this part on a nail to hang it, because like I said, I'm using this as the frame, but you don't have to. You can just use this. You can use a different frame. That turned out pretty tight just by me putting that over it. And these are like so hard to turn, these guys. So I have like a little jewelry thing that I turn it with. I don't know why they're so hard to turn, but they are. So I'm going to try to keep this as tight as I can and tighten this up. And you can even use your little plier. This is like a jewelry plier that came in like a jewelry kit that I bought, but I don't usually make too much jewelry. So I end up just using it to tighten my embroidery hoops. And it's really pretty tight, but if it's not tight enough, you want it to be super, super taut. So I'm trying to get it as tight as I possibly can. And this little wooden hoop works pretty good to get it nice and tight the first time around. See if it sounds like you're beating on a drum. If it's like that, that's what you want. You want it to be nice and taut like a drum. So I'm gonna go a little bit more. I've heard, it's never happened to me, but I've heard if you tighten these too much, the wood will snap. So just be mindful of that. It feels like it's holding up pretty good though. Okay. As you can see, I have a ton of excess. You don't need all that excess. So let's move it down so we don't have it in our way. But you want at least some excess, because you're going to want, when you finish it, you're going to fold it over like this and just glue it down. So have some, because if you cut it too close, then it's just going to fray out. So let's just cut some of the excess so it's not in our way. Once you get better at it, you know, you won't need to cut. You'll know how big of a piece to cut. It's kind of messy. Okay, we're all set up nice and good. So no questions so far. We're good to go, guys. This is nice and tight. So let's start punching. Let's start with the sun. That should probably be an easy start. I'm going to use the, oh, I forgot the color. I think this is called Butter. Pull out a good amount, because one thing that's very important is you don't ever want your yarn to be snagged on anything or tight. You want it to be really, really super loose, because it has to glide very smoothly through this punch needle. Otherwise, it'll just come out of the monk's cloth. It won't stay in. This is the little needle that's got some thread. This is what comes with it. So we're going to use this to thread our punch needle. So I'm going to take the end of my yarn, just put that through the string, right? And then I'm going to drop this yarn needle through the top, and then it's just going to come right back out the end, and then I can pull my yarn right through to thread that. Need this right now, and now I'm going to pull this back, and now it needs to go through that second hole there. I have my chat in the, okay. It needs to go through this second hole here. So you can use the needle if you need to, but it usually, for me, it'll just go right through. So out backside like that. Okay, that's how you thread it. Easy, easy. And now, as we work, this is going to feed, this yarn is going to be feeding through here and through here. Okay, so make sure it doesn't get caught on anything and you have a nice amount sort of just sitting loosely. Okay. Now, because this is my front side, I want my yarn tails to be at the back of my work. If you were doing the opposite, you would leave your yarn tails at the front of the work. So you would just like punch and then hold that yarn tail to the front. But in this case, we're gonna punch, we don't need this much yarn. We're gonna punch and pull the yarn to the back, right? So when you punch, you always wanna go all the way down. So I'm just gonna, what you need to do is have the yarn trailing in the back. So the yarn will always be trailing behind. And this part where the slope is, you want that to be like going the way you're working, right? So if you're working like this, you want this always angled in that same direction, okay? But it'll make more sense when I show you. So punch down. So the yarn's in the back. Punch all the way down. And now because I want this to be the front of my work, I'm just going to pull this yarn to the back. Right? So just pull it behind. Okay, and now you want to keep maybe about somewhere like 6 stitches per inch, but just try to keep it consistent. So I'm going to pull this back up. And now see where that slope of the needle is? That needs to be facing the direction I'm going. So I'm going to the left. So I'm going to go back in, punch all the way down, and then bring it back up. And when I bring it back up, don't bring it all the way out. Try to keep it as close to the surface as you can, okay? And then go like to the next one. And I'm keeping the point of the needle as close to the surface as I can, because if I just kind of pull it all the way up, then it's going to take the yarn with it. Put the yarn over here so it glides easily. And then punch, punch, punch. Now I'm moving this thing, but you could also just move the punch needle like to rotate. So, but if you're rotating the punch needle, make sure you're rotating while it's punched all the way down. Don't try to rotate it while it's on the surface, while the needle is on the surface. So punch down, punch down, punch down. Now see, if I just rotate it like that when it's punched down, and then maybe I could rotate a little bit. For me, it's easier to just rotate with this little tiny project, to just rotate the project, because you can't really see the angle of the needle because it's all, it's in there. But if you're working on a much bigger piece, it's probably easier to rotate the punch needle. So you can do it any way you see how that came out. That's because this right here is getting snagged on this end. That's why that happened. It kind of pulled it, right? And that'll happen, which that's fine. Now, since it came out like that, I just want to sort of straighten out this monk's cloth a little bit so it doesn't have a big hole there. And pull my yarn so that it's not, doesn't have all that slack. So pull it from here and just start over again. And that'll happen. It'll come out and it'll caught on something, but you can just, it's not like, you don't have to stop and, you know, undo anything. You just kind of continue on. Okay, so now that we have the outline, I'm going to try to stagger some more stitches. So instead of lining them up exactly, I'm going to try to stagger them like kind of like bricks. And then I'm just going to work inward around and around till I get to the inside of the sun. And like, because this is circular, you know, that kind of makes sense. But if you're doing like squares or lines, you can just go back and forth. You don't have to go, you don't have to circle in like this. It doesn't matter which way, like direction you go. You can go in like up and down in lines. You can go inward in, you know, work from the outside in. You can work from the inside out. It doesn't really matter. Just try to keep your stitches close together so the fabric is kind of filled up. You know, there's no like spaces. And as you can see, these kind of lined, they kind of stacked up on top of each other. And that's why it looks like there's a space in between. If you can get them staggered, then that eliminates that little space. It just, you'll get used to it, but it looks a little bit better if you can get them staggered. You can't always get it. It's not like a perfect science, but if you can get them to be staggered like bricks, it'll fill it out better. And I could see how this might be a little easier to do with like embroidery floss. But again, you would need different tools. You'd need a smaller needle and maybe a different type of cloth. I'm not really sure about that. And it might be just as difficult. And it's not difficult. You do have to put some kind of muscle, a little bit of muscle into it. It doesn't go in like super smoothly. And that's it. I'm just going around and around. And you really cannot go on top of other stitches. It seems like you can, but it doesn't seem to like it when you try to do that. So try to not go, try to stagger it and try to go as close to the stitch as you can without going on top of like a previous stitch, you know, the stitch that's already worked. And as soon as I'm done with this sun, we're going to finish it off and I'll show you what the back looks like. So I'm trying to get as many in there as I can. One more. Okay, that looks like it's totally filled out now. Now, if I pull this out, my yarn's going to come up. So I want, because like I said, this is my back side, I want to keep this yarn to the back. So I'm going to cut it on the back side. Pull it from here, okay? And then just cut that. See, I screwed up that loop. Now, it looks okay, except for that loop that I screwed up, and there's like a thread in there. I should get out with a smaller scissor. That's a piece of the cloth. Yeah, that's just a piece of the frayed monk's cloth that got caught in there. But look how the back looks. It looks really pretty from the back too. It's like a nice fluffy. So it really just depends on which side you want to be the front of your work. So obviously if I wanted this to be the front, I would just kind of do the opposite of what I did. I would put the cloth the other way. So that way that part is facing, right? And the other disadvantage of using the long is that it does kind of pull. See, it kind of dips in because it's pulling so much to the back because it's got so much going on in the back here that it's sort of pulling that front. So if you can do it with the, let's try on the next thing to add one of these and see if that helps that. Like I said, these don't matter for this because we're using the stitch side as the front of our work. So let's see what it looks like. Let's do a little mountain. Let me check my chat, make sure nobody has any questions. Anybody? Oops, more chat. You guys all with me? Everybody's with me. Yay. This is basically it. So let's just do a mountain with one of these little, I don't know what you would call these, modifiers added. I'm going to use this color, is like a clay. Pull a good amount out. Thread this in here. And what I suggest too is just, before I say that, I'll show you this again. So remember, just drop that through, it comes right through the front, and then you can pull that right through to get your yarn threaded in there. And then don't forget, it has to also go through the small hole at the very tip. Very super simple to thread, okay? What I have is, this is kind of like my, I guess sampler. So if I'm like testing out a different yarn, if it works with this needle, or if I have to maybe choose a different punch needle, I'll just use this as a test. So I could kind of test out different yarns and see how they work, because some yarns just do not work with this needle, and some obviously are not going to work with this smaller needle. So you really just kind of need to, it's like a trial and error testing. Make a little hoop, a big hoop or whatever, and use that as your tester. So that way, as you're creating, you can figure out what yarns work best with which punch needles that you have. And if you only have one, you got to stick to probably a certain type of yarn. You could probably go a little bit thinner with this one, but I think I tried it with a little bit of a thicker yarn and I didn't have much luck. But that might just be me too. So experiment around and see, if you can use what you have in your stash, because obviously you only need a little bit of yarn for this, for a small project like this. And this is really good if you have a lot of yarn that you're just kind of like little pieces that you don't use, like you've made something and you still have like half a ball left or a quarter of a ball left. This is a great way to use that up. Just kind of punch something out real quick. All right, so let's start with this mountain. I'm going to start on this edge here, and I'm going to punch it in and then pull the yarn to the back, because this is my back of my work for this particular project. And I'm just going to punch along. make sure the yarn is trailing off to the back and my needle is pointing in the direction of my work. So now I'm angling it down a bit because I'm going down the slope of the mountain. Remember to punch all the way down. And if you need to, in between, obviously, you can tighten your monk's cloth. See how it's kind of loosening up a bit? It was super, super taut when I first put it into the hoop, and now I can see it's loosening a bit because it's, it's being compromised by all the punching I'm doing. You'll know right away if your yarn gets caught on something because it'll pull right out like that. It won't make a punch. But then you just move your needle over it or move your finger over it and it'll close up that hole. So let's tighten that up and go back down. Trying to cover up that Sharpie mark that I made on this side, and then I'll cover it up when I fill in the inside. And now I'm gonna fill in, try to stagger these. So it's not a perfect science, you guys, but I think it's just one of those things that you get better at with practice, just like everything else in life. But it is a lot easier to kind of, it doesn't have as high of a learning curve, right? It's very easy to learn, like you could learn this in a day. It's not like knitting where it's going to take you probably a lot more time to learn all the small fine motor skills and learn how to do all that stuff. So this has a much smaller learning curve, right? It's like an easy project. It's an easy skill to pick up. So now I'm trying to continue to keep my punch needle going in the direction of my work. I'm keeping that slope pointing towards the direction I'm going, the direction my needle's moving. And if you need to just turn the corner, okay, I want to turn and go this way. Then you can rotate the work, or you can just rotate the whole needle while it's punched down. And now you're going this way, going towards myself. Now I'm going back this way, right? So you're just gonna, so really that's kind of like the main thing you have to remember is just to make sure your needle is moving the direction. Make sure that slope is facing the direction you're moving, and that yarn should be trailing behind. And then make sure this is always, you have a lot of slack on this part and it doesn't get caught on anything. Make sure your monk's cloth is nice and tight in your piece. And that's really kind of the main things you have to remember. Try to keep your stitches together. If you want to change color in the middle of something, you would do it just like we did, like okay, I want to put a different color in here. Then I would just cut this. Let's give it some slack first. I would just cut yarn, leave it to the back, and then I would change color and continue where I left off. The other thing is this comes out super easily, so just be careful, because like if you're like, oh, I hate this, I want to start over, then it just pulls right out from the front, right? So I would just go, see, it comes right out. So it will come out easily. It might even come out when you're not meaning for it to come out, and then you've got these holes left. So what you can do is just scratch the holes like I showed you before. And that should close them up, but it does compromise because this is like a delicate cloth, right? It does compromise it a little bit. So it might be a little bit tricky next time around. So you probably can only do that once. Like if you're like ribbon it out and trying over again like 4 times, it's going to give you too much trouble. So at that point, I would probably just start over. But I mean, give it a try first. If it doesn't give you trouble, and you can, the first time for sure, like I could go right back over that and it's not going to give me any trouble. If I like made a mistake and I had to pull that out for whatever reason, you could just go right over that, keep going, try to pull it tight. If it starts to loosen up on you, tighten this up. Yeah. So now once I'm finished and I've got all of my colors in, what you can do is you can put a backing on this, and that'll keep that from going anywhere. You can put some glue, just some Elmer's glue on the back of this to keep everything in place. Like if you put Elmer's glue all around here, all around the edges, and then just like smooth it out, that's going to dry clear and you're not going to see it through the front. Don't overdo it, obviously, just put a little bit of glue around so it doesn't show through the front, and that'll keep everything, so it's not going to go anywhere. My stomach's growling. Then what you have to do is put this in and somehow fold this in so that way it doesn't show, right? So I tried stapling it and it didn't work too good. The staples just did not want to stay in this little wood, and I kind of split the wood a little bit. So if you have better luck with stapling it, you could try that, but I didn't have great luck with that. And then I used my glue gun and I kind of just glued on the inside, and that worked much better. If you don't have, see how this was a little bit too bulky for me to put a backing on it. That's the other disadvantage. Here I probably went down a bit with this thing. I added one of the modifiers and it wasn't as bulky, which would allow me to put a backing on it. So that's another advantage of going down a little bit. And as you can see, I didn't have any trouble with this one when I went there. So it's probably best to use at least one modifier if you don't have any trouble with it, and then you're not going to have as much bulk on the back of your work. So then just cut this down a little bit if you need to, and you can glue it in there. So you can put some, if you have hot glue gun, that'll work too, or some Elmer's glue, and then just glue it down like this. And then you can cut, if you put that glue in there and it stays really nice. I kind of screwed mine up because I was trying to staple it and that didn't work. What you really should do is put some glue on the inside there, put this down and make sure it's glued all the way around. And then once that is glued on the inside there, you can cut this cloth really close and you won't have all this bulk like I had on mine. So I've seen other people do it. It's just that the problem with it is you have to kind of overlap it a little bit. So like overlap glue, and then if you're able to get that in there, then you can do it that way and get rid of all this excess. Just cut off all this excess monk's cloth, and then just put a little nail right there and hang it on the wall. So put a nail, boom, you've got a nice little quick, easy, fun project. Tips for fine, detailed, curvy lines. Not really, it's just like anything else. I don't think the curvier lines are any harder than the just straight up and down. I think probably the hardest part is to keep your stitches even. Like it's kind of hard to see how all these stitches are pretty much the same size. So just kind of go, if you look really closely, you can see there's like a vertical, a horizontal, a vertical, a horizontal. So if you're like looking and you're like, okay, there's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole like that, then your stitches will be nice and even. But as far as the curvy lines, just keep your punch needle, just make sure you're rotating that punch needle with in the direction you're going. So this slope is always going in the right direction. So that was from Kata. Does anybody else have any questions? Thanks for sticking by me. Thanks for sticking with me through this. It's actually a pretty quick project. And like I said, there's not a steep learning curve. So it's kind of a fun thing to do, maybe to do if your kids are bored and you want to do a fun yarn project with them. It's pretty fun and easy, and you don't need too many things. I'd say this is probably the biggest investment, and I can't remember how much this was, less than 20 bucks. So not too bad. Thank you. I'm interested in doing more abstract. Wait, let me see what Kata said. Kata said, thank you. I'm interested in doing more abstract, intricate lines work. Yeah. I'm wondering if that would just be like anything else, Kata, you would have to experiment. Maybe if you're using, see, this is like a really small hoop, right? If you're using this thicker yarn and you go with like a bigger piece, you could definitely do more intricate curved lines. But there's only so much you can fit in this little tiny one. Yeah, so I would totally do that. Just get a bigger hoop. Or they also have, which it's going to cost more, but they do sell these like frames where it's got this sticky little teeny tiny needles on the back end of it. Little teeny tiny sharp needles, and it's almost like a Velcro, but like a super strong Velcro. And you take the monk's cloth and you just stretch it onto those little fine tiny needles, and it sticks like super good on there. So you stretch it out, and then you can have like a really big framed thing. And then once you're done, you take it off of that sticky thing and you put it in a frame. So yeah, there's tons of stuff you can do. There's of course always lots of resources. Yeah, those are good. And I've seen the ones where where it looks like a PVC pipe almost, and then you put like a piece in there. I've never tried that one. But I heard that the ones with the little tiny needles are really good. But I would, if you're just getting started out, start small like I did and make your little hoops and make your little practice hoops. And once you get used to it, if you're like, yeah, I really like this is fun, I can make something quick, I can make some beautiful art for my house, then you can order the more pricey tools. So it's just like everything else. But you guys, thank you so much. I'm glad we had a nice sort of relaxing class. I feel like sometimes when I do these classes, I'm trying to cram so much in. So this was a little bit more easygoing for me. But I do crochet classes once a month if you're interested in crochet. But just check the class list and check for any other, maybe I'll do something different. Maybe I'll do some knitting in the future. And also you can watch the repeat on the Michael's YouTube channel if you want to rewatch it. But I hope to see you all again. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. See you next time.